one of the most exotic fruits for centuries world over. Largely consumed as wine, now becoming increasingly popular for fresh consumption. Grape trade in international market is rising rapidly. India too is emerging as a strong bidder for its share. Viticulture has therefore become a highly remunerative farming enterprise. But the quality control demands of the importers are very stringent. The grapes for export should look good and tempting. The bunch should be between 400 to 600 grams in weight and loose but well filled. The stalk should be fresh, green, turgid and disease-free. The characteristics of good berries are uniform color, size, shape and firm to touch. 16 to 18 millimeter diameter. Total soluble solids, that is TSS, 17 to 18 degrees Brix. No scars or damage due to sun, disease or pests. Fresh and green pedicel. No pesticide residues. We shall now see some of the important milestones in this journey towards perfection in grape cultivation and post-harvest management. The journey begins in April. After the harvest of last season's crop, the vines are rested for about a month. Then all the canes are pruned by retaining only one basal node. Immediately after pruning, the buds are swabbed with hydrogen cyanamide to ensure early and uniform bud break. The blind portion on the arms too is swabbed to encourage shoot growth for proper canopy. 1% Bordeaux mixture is also sprayed for killing the inoculum of pathogens. Only one shoot is retained on each node to avoid competition for space, nutrients and sunlight. It also helps in proper disease management. The weak or downward going shoots are removed. 5 to 6 well-developed canes are ideal for each square meter area of canopy. Excessive shoot vigor leads to the development of non-fruitful buds, particularly in vigorous varieties or when the vines are grown on rootstocks. To induce fruitfulness, 500 to 1000 ppm psychocell, that is CCC, is sprayed at the 5-leaf stage. Simultaneously, nitrogen dose is reduced and water stress is imposed. Then, at 9-leaf stage, the growing shoot is pinched at the 7th leaf. This operation is known as tipping. It induces the bud at the 7th node to sprout and grow. This new shoot is called a subcane. The subcane is also pinched at 5 leaves. For vines which still show vigorous growth, a second CCC spray at the rate of 750 to 1000 ppm is given immediately after pinching the subcane. Extra shoots or weak shoots are removed. October is the time for fruit pruning. 4 to 5 days earlier to pruning, all the leaves are removed and the canes are twisted to activate the dormant axillary buds. In the case of grafted vines, this operation is done 7 to 8 days earlier to pruning. Vines are pruned just above the fruitful bud. The short internodal length generally indicates the location of the fruitful buds. This can be confirmed by testing under the microscope. The location of these buds will differ on straight cane, single subcane or multiple subcane. After pruning, 1% Bordeaux mixture is sprayed and hydrogen cyanamide is applied to the top 2 to 3 buds to induce uniform sprouting. On the 4th day of pruning, spray of carbaryl at the rate of 0.15% is given for control of flea beetle. At 3-leaf stage, if excessive shoot growth is observed, 250 to 500 ppm CCC is sprayed, and the first spray for the control of downy mildew is given, as the disease can be devastating at this stage. The production of loose bunches is essential for export. This is achieved by elongation of the rachis as well as by berry and bunch thinning. Rachis elongation can be induced before bloom by gibberellic acid, that is GA application. Since a higher concentration of GA can be toxic to the grape vines, it is advisable to give 2 to 3 sprays of gradually increasing concentrations in a period of 12 days. The first spray of 10 ppm is given at the parrot green stage of the cluster. The second spray of 15 or 20 ppm GA is given after 4 to 5 days. About 400 to 600 liter solution is required for 1 hectare. At 50% bloom stage, the inflorescence is dipped in 40 ppm GA for reducing the berry set. During this period, a mild water stress is also imposed by irrigating at the rate of only 8 liter per vine per day. A spray of any systemic insecticide is given for the control of jacids and leaf hoppers. To avoid short berry formation, care must be taken not to dip the clusters in GA solution at full bloom or from full bloom to shatter stage, that is, till the berries are 3 to 4 millimeter. The rachis of the cluster are thinned out manually immediately after berry set, retaining the top 3 branches and thereafter every alternate branch. Generally, 6 to 10 rachis are retained depending on the number of leaves available per bunch on the shoot. To increase the size of the berries, 2 dips of GA are given. The first after the berry shatter stage, that is when the berries are about 3 to 4 millimeter in size, and again after 7 days. GA can be mixed with cytokinins like 6-BA, CPPU or brasinosteroids and auxins like 4-CPA for enhanced effect. Their use depends strictly on the canopy available for bunch development. To harvest optimum yield of 15 kilograms of good quality fruits from a vine, the excess load has to be removed. The growth stage of the vines determines their water requirement. Most of the new vineyards are coming on rootstock to overcome the problems of salinity and water stress. These studies conducted on the water requirement of grafted vines are based on the pan evaporation method. The recommended fertilizer dose of nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium is 660, 880 and 660 kilograms per hectare of N, P2O5 and K2O respectively per year. Nitrogen is mainly required for vegetative growth. Phosphorus is needed for root development, fruit bud differentiation and increasing bunch weight. And potassium is required mainly for strong and bold fruit buds, cane maturity, berry development and the quality of berries. Anytime between 100 to 75 days before harvest, the bunches are given a single dip in 1% calcium nitrate solution to increase their post-harvest life. Downy mildew, powdery mildew, and anthracnose are the three important diseases. Downy mildew can be very devastating from the three-leaf stage till fruit set, especially under wet and humid conditions. To control downy mildew, systemic fungicides are sprayed at 3 to 5 and 7 leaf stages of the shoot growth. Prophylactic sprays of non-systemic fungicides are given at 5 to 7 days intervals from berry set till the berries develop to about 13 mm in diameter. Sprays of dithiocarbamate fungicides like mancozeb or xyrem are not allowed after 75 days of pruning due to residue of their carcinogenic metabolite in berries at harvest. Powdery mildew leaves blemishes on the surface of berries, and therefore its control is more important in the export grapes. As soon as the symptoms are noticed, spraying is started. Systemic fungicides are sprayed during the active vegetative growth and non-systemic fungicides after berry set. Systemic fungicide sprays are restricted to 2 to 3 per season to avoid development of resistance. Powdery mildew can occur on rachis during last 30 days before harvest, leading to blackening of rachis and poor shelf life. Triadimephon, Dinocap or hexaconazole can be safely used during this period. A minimum pre-harvest interval of 25, 21 and 18 days respectively is maintained to avoid pesticide residues. Anthracnose occurs only on tender shoots, young leaves, flowers and young berries. If wet conditions prevail during the active growth stage, new shoots need to be protected by systemic fungicides like carbendazim or thiophanate methyl at the rate of 0.1% followed by a spray of any copper fungicide. However, the inoculum of anthracnose on the spots formed on the canes cannot be killed by any fungicide. Hence, the infected canes are pruned before the fungicide sprays. Mealybug is a serious problem as they grow on the mature bunches and make them unfit for export. Removal of the dead bark during September, pasting of any sticky substance in a ring on the trunk and the anglions, sprays of methomyl or dichlorvos during active growth of the bunches, biocontrol by Cryptolemus beetles near veraison, and spray of Verticillium lacani after veraison are recommended integrated management practices. To prevent post-harvest rotting of grapes, spray of Trichoderma harzianum is given 20 and 5 days before harvest or immediately after pre-harvest rains. This also enhances the shelf life of the bunches. Report on pesticide residue analysis has become mandatory for the issuance of phytosanitary certificate required for export of grapes. Therefore, only the approved pesticides are used at the recommended doses and fungicides based only on the disease threat are sprayed. The recommended pre-harvest interval is strictly maintained. Biocontrol measures during last 30 days before harvest are adopted. Once the grapes are ready for harvest, they are harvested in clean plastic crates lined with bubble sheets or other soft material for cushioning. The crates can be kept on newspaper sheets to prevent contamination by dust. While harvesting, the bunch is held by the stalk and not by the berries. It is cut above the knot present on the stalk. This ensures a longer shelf life. Bunches are placed gently in crates. Due care is taken not to throw the bunches, as rough handling damages the berries. They are placed in such a way that the stalk of one bunch does not injure the berries of an adjacent bunch. They are kept in a single layer. After filling, the crates are kept in the shade of the vine till they are transferred to the pack house or transported from the field. It is also very essential that the trucks or vehicles used for transporting the crates are clean. The crates too are gently loaded in the truck, taking care not to roll the bunches against each other. Harvesting is stopped before the temperature rises about 20 degrees centigrade. If the packing house is far away from the vineyard, refrigerated trucks may be used for transport. The truck is covered from all sides to avoid roadside dust from spoiling the grapes. As soon as the grapes reach the pack house, they are unloaded and tested for quality. Berry temperature and TSS are recorded. Visual appeal, that is uniform color and absence of scars, diseases and insects, is also checked for. The workers in the pack house have to maintain strict hygiene. They have to be clean and wear protective clothing. If the quality check is satisfactory, the crate is sent to the pack house for sorting, cleaning, grading and packing. The crates used in the pack house are washed and dried before use. In the pack house, the bunches are first graded by size. Then the undersized, deformed or damaged berries as well as water berries are removed. The compact bunches are made loose and the general look of the bunch is improved by selective removal of berries. The bunches are then graded based on the more objective parameters like berry diameter and the uniformity in color. The graded bunches are packed in 4.5, 5 or 9 kilogram lots as per the requirement of the export market. The boxes are made of 4 to 5 ply cardboard. At the bottom, a protective bubble sheet is kept. Over it, a plastic liner is placed. 1 to 2 bunches are packed in each pouch and arranged in the box, neither too loosely nor too tightly. After packing, the boxes are labeled and sent to pre-cooling chamber. Here, the berry temperature is brought down to 0 degrees centigrade within 6 to 8 hours. The grapes are cleaned, graded and packed within 6 hours of harvesting. After pre-cooling, grape guard wrapped in a tissue paper is placed over the pouches. The plastic liner is tightly closed to prevent the escape of the released sulfur dioxide. This helps in preventing rotting during storage. The grapes are cold stored at 0 degrees centigrade temperature and 95% relative humidity. The cold chain is maintained during the subsequent transportation. The properly harvested, packed and stored grapes can remain as fresh as at harvest for up to 45 to 50 days. Before shipment, the boxes are stacked to form pallets, each containing 850 kilograms of grapes. Pallets are loaded and transported overseas in special containers, maintaining the cold chain continuity. Regular monitoring and recording is done by sealed temperature recorders fixed inside the container. Once fully loaded and sealed, the container carrier leaves for the nearest port to reload the container onto a ship. It will be taken further to its intended destination in about 3 to 4 weeks. If all the guidelines are followed carefully, we are sure that when the boxes are opened, the grapes will still be fresh and ready to be served on the table.